Hey there, amazing people. Today I've got something a little different for you, a story that's going to get you thinking about boundaries in a whole new way. Ever find it hard to say no? Or feel like you're missing out because you don't want to set limits? Well, let me take you to a quiet island where two boys learn a surprising lesson about boundaries, freedom, and yes, how to balance life without losing out on what matters. Buckle up, because this is no ordinary tale. Ready? Let's dive into the boundaries we build. Once upon a time, there were two boys who lived on a quiet island. They would spend the bulk of their days repairing fishing weirs and lobster traps. They lived just two houses down from the island's lighthouse, where the land stretched high above the sea to form great cliffs of black rock. After their work on the weirs and traps, they loved nothing more than to play ball in a spacious patch of grass that reached from their garden to the edge of the cliff. They would spend all their evening hours playing there until the last light was swallowed by the sea. But they had to play cautiously, ever weary of the stark cliff. They were accustomed to this piece of land, and they had formed a sort of mental boundary beginning at about 10 paces from the cliff's edge, before which rough and speedy play was not allowed. One day, a carpenter who had been working on the lighthouse traveled the cliffside path back down to the village after his day's work. He passed through the boys' patch of land. The boys were playing ball, as they did reliably at this hour. He stopped and observed their play for some time. When a natural break in the game allowed them to notice him, they rushed over to greet this rare visitor. "You boys could really stretch your legs and make use of this land if there were a fence along this edge. I could build you one," said the carpenter. "No doubt you could, and even less doubt that it would be a solid fence," replied the eldest boy. "But the trouble with fences is that they tend to keep out visitors like yourself. We wouldn't want to miss out on a traveler's stories, or worse yet, an official bringing fireworks on New Year's Day," exclaimed the younger boy. A few weeks later, the boys were returning home after a short trip to the mainland, when upon summiting the hill that led up to their patch of grass, they discovered there had been a fence erected. It was a great, solid fence that ran along the cliff's edge and created a secure perimeter around the field. That carpenter went and did it, protested the eldest boy with fists clenched. In his turn, the younger boy kicked the ground and spat. After some moping and cursing, not entirely dissuaded, the boys fetched their ball and began to play. At first, the play was the usual, cautious, and within the confines of the mental boundary that kept them from nearing the edge. But gradually, the boys began to run more freely, throwing and chasing the ball with more fervor and gusto than ever. New plays emerged. Creativity and spontaneity sprang up naturally in their play, and they lost track of time and space, fully immersed in the experience. They quickly adjusted to the fence and to the absence of danger, and were able to finally play to their full capacity. Suddenly, the flow of their game was interrupted by the clatter of metal. They looked up and saw a traveler dressed in foreign garb walking in their field. "Hello, traveler." "Welcome," shouted the eldest. "But how, sir, did you get over this great fence?" "Through the gate installed at the path," replied the traveler. "Now, if you boys know how to make a pot of tea, I'd be happy to share a few stories in exchange." And there you have it, the boundaries we build. Sometimes, setting up boundaries can feel like we're putting up walls that keep life's excitement out. But as we saw with the boys on the cliff, boundaries don't have to limit us, they can actually set us free to be more creative, more spontaneous, and more in control of our time. So next time you hesitate to set a limit, remember those boundaries are there to protect your energy and your peace. And hey, who says you can't open the gate when the right traveler comes by? If you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more inspiring content. Thanks for watching, and remember to protect your time while living your best life.